Hey everybody, and welcome to another video. In today's video, we're gonna have a look at a game which no longer exists. In fact, the company that makes the game also no longer exists. Yeah, we're talking about Uncharted Seas. Right. So basically, in 2008, a company called Rubber Publishing released a game company called Spartan Games. Spartan Games, Spartan Games' first game that they ever released was a game called The Uncharted Seas. Now, the minute I found out about this game, I was extremely excited. I, for one, has been chasing that naval fantasy dragon for the longest time since my first game of Man of War from Games Workshop. I was enamored by fantasy naval. So when another game came along that actually had all these different races, playing, involved in a fantasy setting, naval with magic, I was excited. I wanted to play it. So what I did was I contacted Spartan Games and we started bringing in the starter sets. In fact, we still have a lot of starter sets left in the store. Right. So what happened was very very strange. They first released Uncharted Seas, and then they started releasing different new fleets. They started off with a certain amount of fleets, and then they added, I think, a one to need, and then the last fleet they added was the Royal Guard fleet, and then everything went quiet, and it went quiet for the longest time. And we were still playing games. In fact, we've had a few multiplayer um, Uncharted Sea games in the store, and then the game just went quiet. In fact, we found out later that the game was removed. Spartan Games had moved on to other things. They started making at the time they released Firestorm Armada, and then they released like Stupid Wars, and then there's like Stupid Legions, and then there was just so many games. In fact, they also released Halo as well. Um, but Uncharted Seas was always to the side. Occasionally, I have a friend who comes down from Singapore, and we have a game or two of Uncharted Seas simply because the game is good. It's not a bad game. It's quite fantastic. It's simple. It's quirky, and until Mantic released their Armada game, that was the for me that was the go-to naval fantasy game to play. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna have a look at the rule books. We're gonna have to flip through. We won't really flip through this one, but it's because they're basically all the same book, but we'll end up flipping through the last hardcover. But suffice to say, we're gonna have a quick browse of the first one, the second edition book, which actually came out like this, and then you know this one was the last one. This the last edition, and this one has all the fleets updated with all the flyers and everything else, everything you need to play Uncharted Seas. Um, yeah, so let's have a flip through this book. All right, so let's have a look at the book. The cover's really nice. Very nice illustration. It's got a Rolga fleet, which is basically one of the newer fleets, and you can tell they have actually got the rules for the flyers as well. So let's look inside. Very nice. Oh, okay. So there are figures in this blue book, which I don't think it ever saw the light of day. But I like the fact that they put images on the page, which is kind of great. This is the contents page. Very nice. Navigating the book. You got the forward, and you got some art here. Again, a lot of this art didn't really translate to any of the models. You've got the maps of the world, and then you got how to play the game. The game is actually a really nice game to play. It comes with this turning arcs, which you can actually turn. Bigger ships have bigger arcs, and the smaller ships have smaller arcs. The game also works on the exploding dice. So basically, if you roll a 6, you get to roll again, to add on. And it also works on combined fire. So you can actually combine fire different guns of the same type in order for you to increase your hits, and the amount of damages you cause when you increase your hits pretty much breaks either the structural or and moves over to critical stuff like that. It's really really nice, very very simple system. But let's look through the book. So again, here's the terrain features. I've got some of these terrain pieces which I think I should make, and I like the fact that in the final iteration of Uncharted Seas, they actually have the a whole section on terrain, especially for sea terrain, which is very very nice, very very nice. Now here's how you set up a game. Pretty much, well, there are different setups, of course, and then you have a sequence of play. You got game cards now in Uncharted Seas. You actually have game cards that you play with, and these uh, game cards are broken into the squadron cards, the turn cards, action cards, and reaction cards. And these are cards you play onto the game or onto battle, so to affect the different outcomes, which is kind of good. It's great. You know what? It's a great magic system which I quite like. Then again, I'm biased because I like fantasy naval stuff. Okay, so movement, and then you've got all of this art, which, to be honest, now that I think about it, actually goes nowhere. Some samples of the ships. You got collisions and rams, which is very, very fun when you're playing naval. Doing collisions and ramming. And you got combat, how to do combat. I think if you look hard enough, you can actually find this rulebook, in somebody's second-hand collection. It's not a difficult rule set. It's actually quite easy, quite simple. And then you've got the critical hit table. As I was saying earlier, if you manage to get enough hits to cause a critical, you've got this table to look at to roll. And this is a throwback to, the old, template, not template, old chart-based results, where you roll dice, and it's you can actually tell it's very very fun. 12 of course being the worst, 1 and 1 being the worst, but something in the middle is where you want to get when you have a critical hit. Very very nice. Again, then your boarding actions in Uncharted is like any other fantasy game. There are boarding actions, and again with any other fantasy game, different kind of fantasy races have different kind of abilities and stuff like that. And then you got your end of the turn, some pictures of the ships, the Royal Guard ships, the airships. You got the flying rules. Now flying rules came later, and these are all for the flying ships that come in for Uncharted Seas. Again, very very nice. Then you got diving rules. These are for submarines. I think all of these later became part of Dystopian Wars, and I think this, while making this, they felt, man, we could actually push it further if we went dystopian, as a setting instead of fantasy. Just quite a shame, though, if you ask me, an extreme shame. Now, you got a section here on creatures and monsters. They actually released a set of miniatures for creatures and monsters, which is good, which is great. You can actually have scenarios where your ships actually take on the monsters, which is great. Uncharted work on cards, so even the monsters have cards and the ships have cards, so it's very easy to keep track of what is what and where is everything. You got the monsters critical hit table, fortification, and the fortifications critical hit table, which is, again, it's pretty much standard all throughout, which is kind of cool. Crew upgrades, and they got the optional rules, weather, bravery, time of day, all of this just to add that added bit. But to be honest, when I did play Uncharted Seas regularly, I never used the optional rules. Maybe I should. Maybe at some point I will. Then you got the model assign rules. Now here's the I want to say is the keyword. So keywords are attached to different figures, and different figures have different abilities from these keywords. And here the whole list of keywords. This was later translated over to 5-Star Armada and Spartan Wars and stuff like that. Okay, so fleet composition, how to actually build your fleet. There's a way to build your fleet, and then which is kind of great. A lot of new rule books don't do this. And I'm very glad that they actually went to actually Spartan Games with the background on different races. Like you have the Dragon Lords, ancient rulers of the land, um, and then there's a list of models that that are part of the Dragon Lords. It's nice. Bone Griffins models, figures. Very nice. Also, if you were to actually get the rule book, you can actually like browse through all of the different fleets. For you to it's great reading. It's great, armchair preparation before your next game. Imperial humans. This is the one I really like. I really like the models for some strange reason. Britonian fleets and then Imperial fleets. Yeah, very. I think when finally when Black Seas came out, and then Atlantic Armada came out, I think you can see the ships I gravitate towards. You got the Iron Dwarfs, you got your seafaring dwarves with ironclads and submarines and stuff like that. And then you have Orc Raiders. You got the orcs, seafaring orcs. Um, Very nice because they actually gives you a sampling of the figures. I don't know how attractive these orc ships look. I do prefer the Man of War Driller Killers and stuff like that, but that's just me being nostalgic. Yeah, this looks nice though. It looks like a whole temple on a barge. Anyways, Ralga, this was one of the newer. This is the newest at the time, the newest fleet that came out, and it had a very oriental feel, with junks and stuff like that. Very nice. It because it was oriental and it was new. I know a lot of folks who jumped on it immediately. Immediately. Then you got the Staniras elves. This is just the elf fleet. Um, yeah, I don't know. I've seen a lot of elf designs, and this one's I don't know. I never really got excited about the elves, especially for Uncharted Seas. But yeah, moving along, we have Trout Mages. These are supposed to be I want to say the Chaos Dwarves, I guess. And then the Sky Pirates. Are these are more or less the mercs or you the others. And then you got templates and your tokens. And then you got a part of the book which is kind of nice. The hobbying part of the book. Getting started, how to prepare your models, which is great. I mean, if you're building fleets and this is your first fleet to build, why not have this as a part of your book, to help the new players get in, right? So you got your first introductory adventure, and then list of credits. And that's it. That's the end of the book. It's a very nice book. It's a hardcover. It's excellent. It's pretty. It's just a shame that the game no longer exists. But just because the game's gone doesn't mean you can't actually look for the book and give it a go. I highly recommend it. It's a great game. Go check it out. Now I hope you enjoyed that. Now the reason, if you have looked through the earlier books, the most of the art's pretty much the same. In fact, I can see why they went with the second edition because there were actually some spelling errors which actually somehow or other got didn't get caught, which I thought was amazing, but yeah, best look to this one actually. So I hope you enjoyed the flip through of Uncharted Seas. I will be featuring the Empire of Man fleet at some point. I've got to pull it out and I got to reattach the sails to the ships. I look forward to that, because I want to take them out. I want to have a look at them. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you like us looking at games which no longer exist, um, like and subscribe, and so we'll know. But I also want to know if any of you guys actually played this game. This game was I don't know whether it was popular, but it was popular, where I was playing. Simply because I liked it and I promoted it. Did you play Uncharted Seas? If you did you have a particular favorite fleet? Tell me about it. Until then, don't forget to enjoy painting those figures.